Whew. And
Ray,
we
I'm gonna need you to pay attention to the chat because I also said no in the chat. But
You
yeah,
just totally ruined this man's introduction.
I know.
God damn it, Phil.
I said no. It'd be all right.
If you said no, then you should have said nothing.
Where did you say no at?
He said no in the chat, but god damn it, if it was in the chat, then you would say that live.
Lord Jesus.
Damn it, Phil.
Hey, look,
Anyway,
give me a little comedy to start off the chat. It'd be all right.
take two. And we are live. Welcome to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host, Ray. With me, as always, his father.
Fuck this weather and fuck allergies.
And interrupting the intro, we have First Black Ginger.
What it do, niggas?
And like always, anybody else that come through will come through. So, other than the weather kicking your ass, how's everybody doing today?
I'm just trying to live my best life, and the universe is against me right now. But it all to get better.
You know, I was actually in Southeast today.
Southeast.
But I don't know if I was near you or not, Phil.
I don't know. You acting like I'm from DC. I don't know. You probably was. You probably weren't.
How do you not know your area?
Nigga, I don't go outside.
You better go outside. You need your melanin.
Nigga, you've been in my place. You've seen other windows.
Yeah, nigga shit. Oh, so you getting all the melanin you need?
Well, I need 120 pounds of melanin coming from somewhere else. Black woman magic. Black girl magic. Black woman magic, yeah.
That girl's 120 pounds?
I was just saying a number.
I was about to say, you like them skinny.
I like them skinny, tall, short. My girls are usually bigger than me somewhere. They usually way more than me or they taller. Or just as tall.
All right. Let's go ahead and get to the topics today. Obviously, if you've been under a rock, you know about the passing of Nipsey Hussle. The man got shot in front of his own store in his own neighborhood in the town he grew up in. So, they finally, obviously, if you just finding out, they finally caught the guy that murdered him real fast, by the way. So I want to know, what was your opinion on it?
That broke my heart. Because I've been watching him for a while, and I feel like me and him are the same type of person when it comes to a lot of shit. Like, what's crazy? I found out his birthday is right after mine. He's August 15th. I'm August 14th. I was like, oh, okay.
Leo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Leo.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm like, I have a lot in common with this dude. I'm like, whenever he was in his interviews and he was like spitting that real shit, I'm like, yeah, this is shit I could really resonate with because he's coming from, that street place. I was like, oh, that's true. So when he died, bro, for 2 days, I was almost in despair. I was questioning my life type shit. If this dude was doing something positive for his community, and he was really, really, really trying to make a difference, and for him to get just gunned down like that, just like that by another person who supposedly grew up in the same area as him, come on, man. It's if it's so easy for someone to just run up on you and clip you just for trying to help someone else, because when he got shot, he was actually helping someone who just got out of jail to get some clothes. That he wasn't even planning to stay there long. He was just there to give someone else some clothes. Then all of a sudden he gets clipped and then he dies. Just like that. You know what I'm saying? Beloved by his community. Lauren London loved the fuck out of him. He had a child with her. Take care of her other child. Man, that shit really, really, really made me think. Like, I had to really look deep within myself and like just meditate on it because that shit fucked me up. Like on some real shit. It's like it felt like I lost a brother. And I'm seeing social media giving RIPs. You know what I'm saying? There was some personal testimonies of what Nipsey did for them personally. Like this dude was really about that life, and for him to just die, for him to go out just like that shit hurts, and it just makes me wonder, like what is even the point then? Because if you try to do the right thing, you're gonna get clipped. If you do the wrong thing, you're gonna get clipped. Like, what the fuck is even the point? Like, I was dead ass asking myself this question,
Mm-hmm.
and it was heavy. Like that shit really, really, really made me think. He's even making me think to this day because like, this is someone that I kind of like really resonated with, even if I ain't know him in person. Like the shit that this dude was saying and the things that he was doing, it's that's a somebody right there. Like that's someone you could really look up to. That's someone you can really, in a rare instance, that's someone that you can really say is for our people. Like just genuinely. Without no, like ulterior motives or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it don't even feel like a loss. It feel like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a gigantic blow. It's like a really, 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 really despair inducing event that's going to be talked about the rest of the year. Like we're going to be talking about this the rest of the whole fucking year because that's how much he means to us. So it's just like, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that was like questioning myself. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of black men out there that was really like questioning themselves and that was almost in despair themselves because that's a blow right there.
Mm-hmm. I never got a chance to really listen to his music. When I first heard about him, you know, what really liked about him was the first thing I ever heard about him was a news special. It resurfaced. There was a news special showing the stuff he's done, where he started and what he was doing in the community, and that made me a fan of him alone. Like, okay, one day I was like, I get a chance to listen to his music. My boy was playing the other day in the car, and I was like, this is something, my good best friend said he think that should have been Grammy of the Year. No disrespect to Cardi. Grammy for Album of the Year. No disrespect to Cardi, but he felt like that album was better. And it's just somebody that gave back. Gave back to his community, knowing that it's going to inspire other youth, the younger ones that want to do better. And you lost somebody that was a key role model to a lot of people. And it's not fair to anyone, especially his family. Like, they put up 3 days before he died, GQ put up, I think it was GQ. GQ put up a video of him and Lauren London doing questions together, and it was, pretty interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing, but like you can see they had, some real good energy there. I did find this article that stated, because just like me, I wasn't a big diehard fan. And this article stated how he was a fan for everything he did. Like he didn't need to be a diehard fan. Like you can just see the type of person he was in the videos and things he did. He even mentions the video with Lauren London, and I tell you right now, I personally can give you 5 Nipsey Hussle songs, but that's just because I only found out about him a few months ago. Not probably January is when I found out about him. And then come 4 months later, the man is taken away. and that can happen to anybody. But he was a role model nonetheless, and that's what we need in this world: better role models.
Uh, when I first heard because I was about to cook, and I saw before I got the groceries to cook, I saw that he got shot, and then like right after I got the groceries, that's when I realized that he was found dead and all that other stuff. That's when I found out. So the first thing that went through my mind is like a bunch of conspiracy theories. Like like I was thinking about the Dr. Sebi shit, because I already knew he was all about his community as well. Like I knew about. I'm not going to front like I know five Nipsey Hussle songs either, but I've known who he was since the Double XL freshman list, and I knew that he could rap. And like I've always thought he was nice, but if you could tell me to name five Nipsey Hussle songs, I couldn't tell you that either. Um, but like I always knew what that man was doing, and like you could tell he was always about his neighborhood and like giving back to the community, just like y'all said. He was all about that, and like when you find out that he got shot in front of his own, like in front of his own store in his own neighborhood in broad daylight, and then you're just like, yo, something ain't right. The first thing I was like, something ain't right, but I was like, because I was like I said, I was all conspiracy theorist. So I was like, yo, let me just sleep on it. Maybe it was some street shit. Like, and you find out it was, but I think a lot of people still like have some conspiracy theories about that, which you could really have because it's a lot of it's a lot of underneath shit about that. Um, like I hate to see it happen to a good person like a Nipsey Hustle, someone like because I've always said where are our black leaders or where are people that are for the community and all that other stuff, and like he is one of them. And then like when you take someone like that that's um out of the community, it makes other people think like especially like people that want to fight for the community, especially the black community. It makes some of them think is it even worth it because like it feels like soon because to me it always happens. It happens to XSS Tentacion. And I said, when he was doing good, he was trying to do good for his community, all that stuff. He was gunned down in his I don't want to say in his hood, but it was in Florida. Um, when same thing with Chinks drugs, it was like he was gunned down in his hood. It's like is it even worth like going back to the hood and trying to fix your community? Because I know like if I was rich, I would want to do that too, but I don't want to get hit up. And but I know that's what comes with the territory. So I was wondering if anybody else was like thinking about that.
I mean,
Really,
I was thinking about that too. Because now the real reason why a lot of people were still side eyeing it, even though it was some street shit, is because the dude who did it was a known informant. Like he was a known snitch. So like they and not only that,
right?
but the area where Nipsey store is at is a busy ass neighborhood. Like you're not just gonna come in and get out just like that. There's always traffic in that area, and there's cameras everywhere. So when they released the footage of how he got in and got out, first of all, it was like a really awkward camera angle, and you couldn't even really see much. So they was like, all right, so then just get the footage from the other cameras because there's hella cameras over there. And not only that, but the area that it's in, like I said, is always busy. There's always traffic, and it's on a Sunday too, so it's going to be hella backed up with a whole bunch of people. So the fact that he was able to do that and get in a getaway car without being caught at that very same time, it's like wow. And not only that, they was also saying that there was retaliation shootings, and the dude who shot Eric Holder, the dude who shot this Nipsey Hussle, his family got clipped too.
Yeah, I heard
Um,
about that.
Yeah, so it was like, damn, like that's how you know that was somebody that was supposed to be protected. Because as soon as he died, your family just end up dead. Like, bruh, you have no one to blame but yourself. And not only that, but this mentality that because someone made it and is giving back, and you're somehow jealous because of that, like I don't think that's a normal thing. That's like real true psychological damage, self-hatred. That's like, because if you really think about that, like how do you hate someone? How do you hate someone that's giving back to your community? Like you gonna eat too. Like you
They're
gonna
not directly giving back to you. People, I don't know. I can't even think of nothing. But
yeah, like there is no real justifiable way to explain how someone could just hate another person who's giving back to the community. Even if it's because he got more money than me. That's money he's still giving back though. If he's giving back to the community, you still getting that money. It's just indirectly. If you wanted to get to his level, then maybe you should network with him so you can make some money with him too. Because Nipsey hustled the way he was doing it, he was giving people an out from the street shit. The businesses that he was owning and the shit that he was investing in, he was employing people from the hood. So how is it that you can get up there and shoot the man who was helping your community? And they was talking about Nipsey told him to go away because he knew that he was gonna make the block hot just by being in his store because he's an informant. And if that's the case, then that's just him protecting his brand. He's a businessman. That ain't got nothing to do with you personally. That's business. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you can still sit there and shoot somebody because they're more successful than you, like you're not gonna inherit the success that they get just because you killed them. So what the hell is the point of even getting to that point? Like we really gotta start asking ourselves these questions, and we gotta stop blaming people who don't come back to the hood after this type of shit. Because it happens a lot.
yeah, do you remember? It was a story of a man who walked. I think he was in Detroit. He walked 20 miles back and forth every day to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
He,
that story.
I believe, he ended up somehow getting a new car and $300,000, and people started harassing him for money, like his neighbors and stuff. So he moved. He had to move because people were harassing him because he had a comment. People decided to give to him because they saw he was hard working. 20 miles to work. Bruh.
They didn't give him a ride either.
And he was out there pushing. They got one in the story, but in the end, like what father saying is, it's really sad that people get a good come up and they have to move away because people around them are just toxic and trying to be crabs in the barrel. But with Nipsey, he bought in that little video that I first saw of him. He bought when he had a store at. He used to get like kicked from around there. I think he said he was even banned one time from there. He got enough money, bought half of it, and made it something. He was still building. He was building a sensor. He was building like the time of the video. They say he was close to finishing like a restaurant in the jump. And I forgot the other thing and he had plans for a STEM center for the kids in that area. So he came back to his neighborhood. I mean, he probably don't live there, but his businesses are there. So he got to be close by. You're not gonna be too far from your businesses when they small like that. It's just
All
sad.
right. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Finish, Phil.
No, I'm just saying it's just sad. That people can't come up and not have too many pride of them, wanting to work with them. People just want people. A lot of people just want take and don't want to give.
Okay, so here's my next question because I was looking at Tariq Nasheed, and he was talking about how some people kind of look at it as like we got to do better and all that other stuff. And he was the one that was like, nah, we not taking the L. I don't think the black community should take an L for one dusty ass Negro that was jealous and like killed another man out of jealousy. Do y'all agree with that statement?
I agree with that statement because I see where he's coming from. You
Mhm.
The reason why he was saying all that was because there was a lot of comments trying to say, oh well, the black community, all we do is kill each other, all this black on black crime, and it was like that's not really the time for that because number one, the dude just died. You know what I'm saying? We should be taking this time to appreciate what he means to us and what he's done for us. Number two, Nipsey himself wouldn't say shit like that. He wouldn't go like, "Oh man, we just need to do better as black people because we just so like." He wouldn't do nothing like that, and I don't think he would expect us to have that type of energy when it comes to mourning his loss or mourning anyone else for that matter. Because this is an individual. Yes, he's big. Yes, he's a big individual. He's a public figure, but at the same time, the fact that you attribute someone's murderer to a mentality that is supposed to be of black people, like, nah, you're not gonna sit there and try to put me on blast because of another person's decisions. But at the same time, I also know where that mentality comes from because it's happened so many times. We usually kill our own leaders. Well, not usually, but like there are a lot of cases where black people have had a hand in killing other prominent black people. And with that, I'm just saying that it is like you said earlier, that just comes with the territory because black on black crime is only that way because black people are in your proximity. So if you go rob somebody, you know what I'm saying? If he's right near you, then you go rob him because he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
Self-made. Dang, what's the word I'm looking for? Jim Crow laws. Self-made segregation.
yeah, so it's like when you take that into consideration, then it'll make sense how Nipsey Hussle would get clipped by another black man because he live in that because he around that same neighborhood. They're not gonna get some white dude to kill him. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do none of that. But if you are from the same place as someone else, then that's just what's gonna happen. I don't think it's just exclusively black people just being ain't shit. I just think that there's a whole lot of context to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
Say shit like, "Oh man, black people, we just need to do better," but you don't say nothing when there's other groups talking shit about black people, and then you co-sign them by saying the exact same shit they say about your people.
Yeah.
Or are you trying to say that you're part of the problem too? Because if black people need to do better, then you're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just sit there and just be like, oh, us black people, we this and we that, we this and we that. Yes, I know that there's a lot of shit black people need to improve on, but at the same time, to attribute that to someone who was just murdered, I see where Tariq was coming from.
Hmm.
I also agree with that because I think for another reason it's just that like history has shown like when like every time when something happens to the black community they kind of make us take that L. But like let's say like the Unabomber, like white people is not taking the L for that. White I don't remember white people taking the L for Dylan Roof. I don't remember white people taking the L for like other stuff that literally white people have done in history and all that. Hell, they don't even take an L for slavery and say they were wrong about that. In my opinion, like I know most people do, but some of the other people like they won't. It's like that's not an L.
That all right leader say was the best thing that happened to us.
Who said that?
And what's his name? It's some all right dude. Richard Spencer.
Oh, Richard Spencer's ass.
Yeah. But you can tell he's a pawn. Somebody else is manipulating him because he's stupid enough.
Now that nigga try to be. Watch out for him. I've been saying this for a long time. Watch out for him. He wants to be the face of white supremacy.
Yeah, he dropped
Like
out of school doing it too. Like he actually dropped out just to do all that.
Right. So I always tell people like, watch out for him. He's to me, not to get off topic, but to me, he's like one of the dudes is like, you know how, and I had this argument with Brandon, and I said like, if I was white supremacy, I would try to get rid of Richard Spencer, and I said why? Because the whole time like white supremacy doesn't really need a face; it's a system, and like the whole time when white people was like blame stuff on white supremacy, it make us look crazy. And someone like Richard Spencer, he will fuck that up because him like agreeing with all that shit, I think is fucking with white supremacy, the actual plan of making us look crazy. And him trying to be a face of it, it's not that
I think him that I don't think he was intentionally trying to be a face of it, but as I see some of that stuff and when people call him out on something, I can see you see a baffled look on his face. I really believe he's the puppet face. Somebody is backing him and feeding him these lies, have him out in the public while he does stuff in the background.
I think he actually believes the shit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's believing it, and that's worked for the person in the background pulling the strings. In order for you to have a puppet, they have to be gullible enough to believe what comes out your mouth, or dumb enough, or both. He's probably both. But
you're right.
But back to the topic you were on. Now they don't take L for nothing. They don't even, and they're not gonna take an L for him. Oh, I don't believe that. You know, hey, I hate clumping people together, but sometimes some things you do have to clump together. You know, it's not to be prejudiced or anything. It's to be safe. But you know, I know somebody will say on the other hand, but they do that to us. Well, why you do it to them? The two wrongs don't make it right. It don't matter. It just you gotta protect yourself. And like I said, I was bringing up my time in the Marine Corps showed me that there was a lot of white people who were racist but didn't realize it. I'm not gonna say they were racist. They were like extremely prejudiced and they didn't realize it. And they have a hard understanding that somebody thinks and live differently than them.
Which is by design.
They're the main people I argue with in the Navy.
What did you say, Father? Which was what?
It was that's by design.
Yeah, I know, and they don't realize it. I remember one of them was like, "Black people got their stuff together," and I'm standing right there, like, "Hey, don't you see me? The fuck does that mean?" Now you see, I went in thinking. You remember when Q was here and he was saying some of the stuff he was saying. I went into the Marine Corps thinking like that for a little bit, but then I started to see more stuff. Started to see like there were a lot of black Marines in there trying to better themselves, either because their parents did it. You know, they had role models. Their parents were one, or you know, there's like I was trying to get away. It was a black guy doing the better himself. He was homeless, so he decided to join the military. You know, some other people won't take certain chances with their own life, forgetting that they're business. But as a whole, and as I look at as a whole of the black community, we're gonna survive. Even though they say we're projected to have no income in 2053, the black, I doubt it. I doubt it's gonna happen because we're gonna find a way to survive.
Actually, I don't believe that because, like, if anything that 2019 has showed me, there's been an increase in black entrepreneurship, and a lot of people, instead of like slaving to the white man, they've been starting their own business. I've been seeing that lately. I think
that's what I'm saying. We learned to survive. So, you know, we learned that as the generations go on, as we get younger, we learned that what our parents did is not working. You know, and you sit here and argue with some people. That's not how you got to do it nowadays. But you know, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna find a way to survive because we're humans. We're black humans. That's what we do.
there's one thing. Like one thing I would say we do know how to is adapt, and we adapt very well because, like, I know unemployment's been lowest it's ever been, but I think it's because that we've been like starting our own jobs and like Because there was times where like even in a recession and all the other stuff, it was just hard to find jobs. Unemployment was high as fuck, and then people just like started making their own jobs and all that.
The government shutdown is a prime example of two women who had a side hustle that became their main hustle. They were selling pies, and then government shut down. They had that money. Boom. That's why it's good to have multiple streams of income. I've been, and like I said, go back to our earlier topic of Nipsey Hustle. It's something I started noticing years ago when I was in my early 20s. I just didn't know how to execute it. I kind of still don't, but that's what I'm learning to do is execute it. And that's why some people, sometimes you need, sometimes it's just finances you need to execute it. So that's why some people, we only see right now, most people see the entertainment industry of any level, be it sports player, musician, is a good way to come out. One is something they love to do, but they know once they smart enough, they can get the money and build off of it. LeBron James giving back to Cleveland, Cleveland, got a whole high school with a plan. But LeBron kids are gonna do something different. I know somebody said they think his son gonna be in the NBA when he turn 18. I was like, he don't got to do that. He probably go to college first. Because if you look at LeBron's gonna be like, you don't need to do this. I already did this for you. You go to college and get you something to back up behind it. I could be wrong, but from the looks of it, LeBron did his sacrifices so his kids probably wouldn't have to. So the rest of his family and friends wouldn't have to.
Well, technically, according to the NBA, he has to go to if he wants to go in the NBA, he has to do 1 year of college anyway.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so
4 years.
Yeah, so if he does stay all 4 years, it probably would be for education. But like I said, of course, the NBA rules, he has to do 1 year of college. But I see what your point is.
So I didn't know that. I'm not big on NBA. Didn't they used to be? You didn't have to do college at all.
Yeah, it used to be that you could just go from high school to the league and the thing was that rule has always been there since like the Moses Malone days in the 80s. It's just that not a lot of high school kids went straight to the league. It wasn't until like the late 90s, early 2000s where you see a lot of kids coming from high school to the league, like the KGs, the Kobe's, the J.R. Smiths, and all them other people. They're the ones that like came out of high school. And then like the funny thing is the NCAA, they was losing money off of that because some of them kids are like ready. They're like NBA ready, like Dwight Howard. He was NBA ready. He didn't need college. So the NCAA was kind of losing money off of prospects. So I think that's why they instilled that rule.
Yeah, NCAA is a bunch of slave drivers.
So is Donna Sterling.
You say it was Donna Sterling?
Yeah.
No, I mean the NCAA is worse because them kids can't get money off of anything. That's why we don't have the basketball video game no more because you gotta pay people for their likeness. The NCAA don't want to give them kids nothing. The kids that made that the Running Man challenge popular, the two Maryland basketball. I don't know if they still in Maryland. I don't know if they made it to the league or not. But
it's been they ain't making it to the league. I would have known.
Yeah, but them two, they won the Ellen show, and she's like, because of the NCAA rules, I can't give y'all no check. I can't give y'all anything. I think she gave them like some shirts or something, but I can't remember. But that's what I mean. They're super slave because they basically not getting no type of compensation.
If they wasn't on scholarship, I think they was on scholarship. If they wasn't on scholarship, I think she could have given money.
But they were there but okay, I knew somebody that used to play football for Georgetown, I believe, right? He used to work at me at Target.
Mm-hmm.
And even Sherman say this. It's like when you are a athlete of any caliber to a sport, to a school, you're there for the sport, you're like their property. Things are mandatory. You can't do much. You don't basically have your own life. They're not getting compensated. Technically, people say they are because they got a scholarship, but they don't get much time to really go into their craft, like go into that education like that. From what I've been told from that guy, and the way Sherman, said it, like you don't got time to really get a job because you got school, you got mandatory practice. You got to make sure you find time to put sign up for your classes and get the right classes you need. As long as they're not doing practice hours. So yeah, you're more of a slave at the school than working for. At least with the NFL stuff, you working for them, you make your contract, but you getting some type of compensation. And with the evolution of what I'm gonna say LeBron James. They say LeBron James started it. I know some people say. I know one time I read a comment. Somebody says embarrassing for players to tell these owners, but these basketball players have learned something that NFL players have yet to try to get on yet. Is learning that you're the asset to them. Without you, there's no team. So, and if you are good as player as caliber as LeBron, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, people don't want you, and you are your business, and you can control it. That's why technically working for those companies, you're not a slave, especially when you're getting paid millions. I mean, you're still bounded by that contract, but at the end of the day, LeBron has done something with people. A lot of
LeBron
people.
is on brand.
Yeah,
LeBron is a
LeBron is what?
LeBron is a billionaire, so he could literally not play again and still make money off his shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably make money off a lot of stuff because I'm sure he's an investor. He's.
I think he's doing film too because he's exactly produced a show, a couple shows too.
But I think we got off subject. My bad.
No, I was actually just about to change the subject anyway since we was on sports. Have y'all heard about the Stephen A. Smith? Like he may be getting like $10 million from ESPN.
No,
Well,
what?
I saw it, but I don't know what any of that is.
Like it's basically like how can I say how can I say this? He does everything. Like anytime, I think this is credit to his work ethic and all the other stuff. Like every time they need an analyst, like on the fly, they'll like Stephen A. Smith will be on vacation, and he'll they'll call him and he'll do it. And Stephen A. like he grabs ratings for him. Like ever since like he's been on like ESPN two and all the other stuff because he's a recognizable figure. And then with him on First Take been around since like what 2005 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like one of the most recognizable face next to like Scott Van Pelt and maybe like Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. But like Stephen A. basically like he's getting what he's worth,
Yeah.
and he may be worth more than that. But he's basically getting what he's worth. So I wanted your opinion, how y'all feel about that.
Well,
I don't follow Stephen A. Smith like that, so I really don't got too much. But I mean, congratulations to the man. I'm not gonna hate. I have a my grandfather was a always show me an example. Sometimes if you do your work right, and my grandfather basically had a guy who depended on him so much to make sure his company runs smoothly. To when he passed, is one the man was there at his funeral, grown, big, heavyset white guy, busting out tears. I think he cried harder than my grandmother because that man, my grandfather was that much of an asset to the man. I think my grandfather said he tried to leave and start his own business, and then he had to come back because the man almost went break for it. My grandfather being the good guy he is, then I don't think he thought more ways of doing it. Like I wish I would have learned from him before he left, but I was young, so. And that's all Stephen A. Smith and people like LeBron James are doing. Sometimes you gotta get that 120%. Somebody's gonna notice it, and you're gonna get what you're worth. Every now and then, you might feel like you don't get it, but it's bound to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's getting his money. I don't know, Ray, but I think I saw some butter biscuits with that check.
That's okay. That's the honestly, Father. That's the reason why I brought this up because it's like a lot of people has been like saying he's been cooning like the whole time he's been on First Take and all the other stuff, and
in every coon train Tariq Nasheed has ever made. That says something.
he had okay. I don't want to call him a coon. This is remember this conversation is like me not liking the word coon because like um because most people I don't know like some people don't fit that to me, and I just feel like we just have different ways of reaching the same goal, and like a lot of things because one thing I will say this Stephen A. Smith he gets on black athletes, but I think the reason why we get on black athletes is because we were like during that time they was in the news doing stupid shit like Plexico Burris shooting himself and a bunch of like other players getting caught for weed and all that other stuff. So like most of his explanation is like y'all in the business of making money, y'all making all this money, but y'all like do stupid shit to like fuck yourself over. And I believe that's the whole thing he was saying, but a lot of people like disagree with that. Or
Right.
like he called him, or like I remember Corey Holcomb. I was like, because he's like a capitalist. He's about getting money and all that other stuff. You got to get a ways to get it. It's a la like a Steve Harvey. Is like is like he's. I think Stephen A. Smith is one of those dudes. He had to work hard for what he got, but he had to do it through the old way. I don't want to say he was kissing ass because he was still himself. Like he wasn't like I don't. You could he bucked. I would say this. He soft shoe. He would soft shoe some shit, but other than that, I wouldn't really call him a coon. But
No,
what you
I think sometimes with Stephen A. Smith, he say certain things, but there's not a lot of explanation to it, and it comes up. Because I remember he told kids at one at a little, I don't know if it's high school or college graduation, he was like, "Racism doesn't exist to you."
I was just about to mention that one too.
And I think he didn't explain it right. I think he was trying to say, you don't let it affect. He should have, again from the old speech teacher, words matter, and I think probably a poor choice of words. I'm not sure what he was trying. I think he was trying to explain something else. The poor choice of words to come out, which a lot of people do. But tuning is different. Like people, like let's say with Monique, right? Because you brought up Steve Harvey.
mm-hmm.
You want everybody to boycott Netflix because they won't give her money.
Right.
But I was just watching a DJ Vat interview with Nick Cannon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cannon, he was on America's Got Talent, and they didn't like something in one of his comedy specials. They didn't agree, so Nick Cannon was like, "All right, I'm out," because he knew his worth. And I think sometimes maybe that's, like I said, maybe that's what Steve Harvey was trying to explain to her. Know your worth. If your worth is really more than that, why you press to get it from Netflix? Go somewhere. I think you said this before. Go somewhere else and show them that they're gonna come crawling back. I mean, look, the Cannon left. America Got Talent, and he still got Wildin' Out. And Wildin' Out just got renewed for 90 episodes.
They're actually looking for more people too. They like trying to. And the thing about Nick Cannon is he's like he always try to put other people on, which is also really good. And he's going to finish Nick Nipsey Hussle's Dr. Sebi documentary. So he said he was like, so when Nipsey was like, if I die, y'all ride for me. Nick Cannon's doing actually that, trying to finish that documentary. But, yeah, anything else to say on that?
I don't know. I don't know much about the Dr. Sebi thing.
Yeah, the Dr. Sebi documentary was gonna profile the case he had with New York because he had said that he could cure AIDS and cancer and all that. And so if you go to the Rock Human Show on YouTube, he actually does interview Dr. Sebi, and Dr. Sebi breaks all of that shit down, like how he won the case and everything. He breaks all of that down. So, ah, so the main reason why Nipsey Hussle was doing it in the first place was because not a lot of people know about Dr. Sebi, and it's actually really surprising because like this man at one point was helping out Michael Jackson. He was helping out a whole bunch of people. And the fact that he could do all of this with just using food and like natural products, like he was really a force to be reckoned with. And and back to like Nick Cannon picking up the mantle to finish that documentary, I feel like that's gonna be a real game changer because now we gotta look at how we're gonna protect Nick Cannon if he really does go with it and he goes hard at it too. And I'm not saying that maybe he's gonna get assassinated for doing so, but they're gonna find some way to like bury his name or
or fuck him over.
yeah, they're gonna try and find something to damage his name just because he's trying to put out that documentary. And it's like Ray keeps saying, they try our black men. So if the fact that he's picking up the mantle means that we got to step up and as a community try and protect our brother, and that's just what we have to do, even if we have to denounce a lot of people that's in the black community too.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Nipsey, because actually there were a bunch of articles talking about how Nipsey Hussle had a history of homophobia and things like that. And he's actually explained in his Breakfast Club interview that that's not what he was trying to say at all. They say he took what he said out of context, which they usually do all the damn time. And he was just talking about how certain things may come across instead of him trying to bash another gay man or whatever. So when it comes to that type of shit, we always got to make sure that we are providing the right context when it comes to explaining ourselves and when it comes to talking about people in our community that we love and cherish and that are putting in the work, because they're always going to try and sully another black man's name just so they could prove a point that, oh, black man ain't this, black man ain't that. And like I've seen it happen all over Twitter where there'll be like a black feminist or like some other black figure that is super critical about black men, but when it comes to their own communities, it's like, well, because the black man did this and the black man did that and all this misogyny and all this death and violence and shit. And it's just like, now you're just not using the proper context. Because if this was really an issue, then you would look at all sides of the conversation instead of zeroing in on one aspect that you feel because it's in close proximity to you that is the cause of all your problems. And it's like, okay, then let's get to the source. Let's get to the root. Why are they this way? So and that just comes down to being on code, which we've discussed. But a lot of people ain't trying to hear that conversation because being on code requires them to put in work. And why would I put in work when I could just blame black men?
I would say this. I think that was the one positive thing, except for people going at the guys who killed Dempsey's family and like harassing their family. Like they was on code. Like nobody was like they was like not even like a full day. They found this killer, who he was. They gave a name and like in like what less than like shoot not even less than 2 days he was arrested.
Yeah,
So so for one, this is like a very great example of not just black men being on code, but the whole community being on code, and even the gang members themselves, because it's like Tariq said, everybody wanted everybody wanted him. captured and arrested and dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
So the next topic I had, I know I'm like the only one here that really cares about battle rap, but I kind of like wanted to speak on this and get y'all opinion on this. Like y'all remember when I was talking about the death of the battle rapper Tech Nine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so um, this one really bothered me because like Tech Nine was like one of my favorite battle rappers, and like you know, a lot of people say he died in his sleep, right? So so there was some papers on him about like he had a court case in November, and it was about child molestation and child pornography and all the other stuff. And then I'm coming to find out like hours before he's supposed to show up in the period court, that's where he wound up dead.
Hmm.
And right, and like the shit like really like it hurt the battle rap community real bad because like nobody like really knew this side of him,
Right.
and like this made me think of how like a lot of one of the things that need to be fixed in the community, even though he like off himself, and it's just like how like there's predators in the community that we really need to get rid of, and we really need to like talk because you know like there's usually like the stigma of like someone's uncle or like cousin molesting these little kids and they're not really getting dealt with. They're really like um they're in the family and then like they're not really getting the help it seems. So I kind of like wanted y'all opinion on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I don't really follow battle rap like that. You know, I'll dabble here and there. But in the case of Tech Nine and this whole, child molestation and shit, the fact that it came out after his death is kind of fishy. And the only reason why is because when we usually find out someone's been a child molester, it's instant. You
Right.
know, it's like, oh, okay, so you over here, you on this type of shit. So why would they? And I'm assuming that these cases were pending. Like,
Yeah. And then,
yeah. So why, when the dude dies, all of a sudden it comes out? Not saying that it wasn't out because obviously there was cases pending against him, but at the same time, if we was really going to discuss this should have been a conversation a long time ago. So it's like I understand that because the man's dead that we're gonna bring it up and then we're gonna see what type of shit he was on. But then at the same time, you're just doing what happened to XXX Tentacion, which a lot of people did not agree with. That just because he did fucked up shit, like at the end of the day, this dude is not here to defend himself, or not even to defend himself. The dude, he's gone. Like even if we did find out that he did fucked up shit, what's next? What you gonna do? You know what I mean? You gonna cancel all of his music and all of his contributions? You can't really do that because he's still gonna have that. He's still gonna have those titles on him regardless. He's always gonna be a prominent figure in the battle rap community, regardless of whether he's a child molester or not, because of his contributions.
I don't know.
So
They X'd out Chris Benoit.
I mean,
so we
yeah,
know who Chris Benoit is.
they X'd out Chris Benoit, but you still gonna have people calling him one of the greatest techno wrestlers of all time. There's no debate.
And we know who Chris Benoit is.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he still got matches on the WWE network.
Yeah, they can't add him about the whole Royal Rumble. That all the Royal Rumbles he's been in, or the one he won.
I was about to say, what can they do? Blur him out? You can't blur him out. I think they tried. So it was just one of those things.
No, I think there's supposedly the Owen Hart Tracker event is on the WWE network, but so anything with Chris Benoit something comes up. It's like, yeah. But no, you can't blur him out. Look, they tried to erase Hulk Hogan for a little bit.
That didn't work.
They tried to scrap him from the Hall of Fame.
That didn't work. He was like your whole 80s.
Yeah.
And like half of the night.
I think they did a meme where
Really well, actually 80s and 90s.
I think
Like,
where there was like, you remember when Andre the Giant body slammed himself, and they just
it resonated too.
and they photoshopped Hulk Hogan out. Even Andre just in the air by himself, looking stupid.
That's
But no, you're right though, Father. You can't. You really. It's hard. Like the thing going on with Michael Jackson right now. His contributions, like, you're not gonna stop it.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop the bag. You're not gonna stop the flow. No matter what someone does, you can't erase their contributions. Like, because if that was the case, Elvis would have been out the way because of his pedophilic ass.
I mean,
that's why I keep telling people cancel culture is retarded because all of you ain't about that life.
I'm sure there's still
Elvis is getting a special. It was like a tribute. Excuse me. He was giving a tribute. So
Definitely.
I definitely agree with Father on that one. While Michael Jackson is like people trying to get Michael Jackson's name off the radio and all that other shit. Elvis is getting a motherfucking tribute as the king of rock and roll.
And hell, let's even take it a step further. Because the whole Michael Jackson shit was planned because it's been proven that he ain't do nothing with them kids multiple times. Like he's been fighting that shit since the 80s, and every single time he's won the cases. He's even had people switch up their own statements because that's how thorough he was about getting his name cleared. And second of all, when it comes to trying to hold someone accountable for like the shit that they've done, I've noticed that when it comes to dead people, that's the ones that they go on the hardest. Because when you alive, they always assume that, we're just gonna make his life hell until he dies. That's the type of approach they had. They did that shit with Bill Cosby. It's like, we're gonna get this man shows out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna really fuck with his money until he dies. And then that's when you're gonna get people that's gonna be like, despite Bill Cosby's, crimes, he was still a beloved member of our community. I'm like, all of you shut the fuck up. All of you can eat my dick with that type of shit. Because when it was proven that he ain't rape anybody, you know what I'm saying? You got him with the Quaaludes. So at the same time,
even then that was consent.
Yeah,
I keep telling people that was consent.
And then you go like have all this crying, and you gonna have all this. You know what I'm saying? He was a flawed individual, but he did some good within his community. And I'm like, all of y'all need to shut the fuck up, because if that was truly the case, if that was ever really, really, truly the case, and you really feel that way, then you would actually be trying to put yourself in a position where you would try to understand, not even understand, you would try to put yourself in a position where the messages that he brought up and the morals and the principles that he tried to teach to other people, you would teach it yourself. But none of y'all are doing that because he's flawed, and because he did fucked up shit in which no one is trying to, fucking try to give him a pass for. Well, we're just saying don't knock what the man was trying to tell people, because he obviously had very important messages for a community of people, which made him beloved in the first place. So let's not take that away from, him doing fucked up shit.
I agree.
It's calling me.
I agree, especially since like Bill Cosby was another one that like you may not like how like the shit he was doing in the 70s, even though it was consent. And I keep telling people it wasn't. You may not like how things rocked in the 70s, but I've always said you can't put today's vision about shit that happened back then. That and one thing, and two, like he put so much money into like black colleges, and he was like big on education. He put so much money in black colleges and black schools. He had scholarships. Like motherfuckers got through college because of him. Like even it shows like those were positive outlooks. Like the Cosby Show itself, it's like a lawyer, a doctor, and a lawyer. All those kids got into a good college or a good school, and like even in a different world, like all those people was like you saw positive influence on black people. So I feel like he's done his part on black people, but like the only thing I've ever gotten mad about Bill Cosby was him having an affair with Camille because honestly, it's like you portray yourself as this family man and all that other stuff. You're over there like having an affair on Camille, and that's not a good look.
Yeah,
That's the one I felt sorry for the most because like you, how can you do like that dirt on a black woman like that
that held you
with
down
other white?
on that whole shit.
Right. That's like the whole. That's the only time I said Bill was a piece of shit because him having an affair on his wife and like she ride or died with him until that nigga went to jail.
Hmm.
Okay. So the next thing I wanted to speak about, obviously WrestleMania is this Sunday, and like this been like Wrestle like WrestleMania and WWE. This been in the news for like shit that really doesn't pertain WrestleMania per se. Like like the John Oliver little his little segment on his 20-minute segment on the WWE and Vince McMahon, mostly entirely, and then like some of I've seen other people talking about how wrestlers are like they're being outraged about not how I say not being utilized in the company as they should. Uh, I don't know if we really talked about this much, but I kind of wanted your opinions on that too.
I definitely agree with the anger of not being utilized because that's exactly why Dean Ambrose is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Like because Dean Ambrose, like if you look at his resume, he's a Hall of Famer just based off his resume alone. Like I'm pretty sure the only thing he's
Right.
really done is like win the Royal Rumble at this point. So it's like when you have that big a name and you just continuously treat him like an afterthought, you like it's just like it gets to a point where it's like enough is enough, and I'm gonna go put my talents elsewhere because obviously you're not seeing the talent in me, and that is a huge, huge, huge mishandle by WWE. But at the same time, it ain't surprising. Like this shit ain't surprising at all. They've been doing this. They've been treating the top stars like shit. Like even if we go back to and this one is a sore one for me because I genuinely thought this guy was going to be real big, and then they end up really, really, really fucking him over. Our boy John Morrison,
Ah, good old
Intercontinental champ.
Nacho.
Like this man has won the Intercontinental Champion multiple times. This man is like one of the greatest athletes we've seen in WWE, but other than winning the Intercontinental Champion, he really hasn't really done much. You know what I'm saying? He was a multiple time tag team champion.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in a position where his career was really about to shine, but they just never, they just never pulled the trigger on him. And I'm like, what more does this man have to do in order to get like some world title shots around here? And it's funny because as soon as he left WWE, he became world champion in multiple places in multiple wrestling promotions. So it's like these other companies can see the worth in these people that genuinely put in the work to get to that level. So why is it that you can do everything they ever ask of you, but you're never put in that big title picture, or your worth is never really seen as, someone who can carry the company name and have all these really big matches. And in the case of John Morrison, I was really happy when I found out that he was being a world champion in multiple places because he does deserve it. Like, he puts in the work, excellent athlete, and he's well respected within the locker rooms. You couldn't say that about Alberto Del Rio. You couldn't say that about Enzo Amore. They was about to push the fuck out of Big Cass, and they got his ass out the cut because he was retarded.
Who'd have thought being a Trump supporter would get you kicked out?
Exactly. And fucking Linda McMahon worked for Trump at one point. Like, huh?
Right. That still do?
Nah, she resigned.
She resigned.
Oh, when did this happen? I missed that.
It happened like earlier
Recently.
yeah. I want to say earlier last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, because that's the only person he put it. I mean, that's the only smart decision he made when he put her as small business. I mean, yeah, you know, technically her whole family has a business, but yeah, that man, I don't know. A lot of people resigning out of his cabinet.
Hell, AJ Styles is a Trump supporter, but you know what the great thing about AJ Styles is? He doesn't talk about it.
Right.
He shuts up.
Right.
He just wrestles his matches and he gives the people a show. And you know what? Even if AJ is a Trump supporter, like, okay, then
I'm fine with that.
yeah, I'm only fine with that because he's actually a decent dude. Like, ain't no scandals with him or nothing. You're not gonna have anyone talk bad about AJ Styles. So it's like when it comes to that, as long as you know you ain't a racist bigot or whatever, then you'll be fine. But at the same time, going back to the topic, like the fact that you have all this talent, and it's been proven and documented many times that this generation of WWE superstars is like the best generation, like in terms of talent, hands down. You got your Sasha Banks, you got your Baileys, you got your Seth Rollins. You have people that consistently put in 5-star matches on Monday Night Raw of all places, and you're not trying to, give them, like some of these opportunities out here. And of course, I'm not talking about Rollins because he has his Universal title and shit. But the fact that Brock Lesnar, who clearly doesn't give a fuck, just basically gets to hold that title hostage.
That's still hilarious to me, by the way.
Yeah. And you got these other dudes who work just as hard. Like, come on. And that's why people are so invested in this Kofi Kingston match, because he genuinely fucking deserves it. Like, this man has wrestled everyone that needs to be wrestled and can go toe to toe with them. So it's like, okay, now, like this match should have happened. Honestly, this match should have happened like 5-6 years ago, if we really being honest. Because
before he even joined New Day.
Yeah, before he even joined New Day. Because at that point, he was a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. He's had highlights of WrestleMania, of Royal Rumble. Like, every position you put him in, he shines. He can do early card. He can do mid card. He can do main event. He can do it all.
Mm-hmm. You know what the thing is, though? Just looking at past of people who should have been champions, like Shelton Benjamin. Somebody else I had on my mind. Jeff Hardy should have been one of probably a lot earlier. I'm not big with tag team split up, but it was something I looked at, and it's like there's a lot of people who don't measure up, who don't have the ability to take the workload, or they don't try to. Like, I looked at something Shelton Benjamin. Like, I was a big Shelton Benjamin fan. Still am. I'm always like, because one, I'm pro-black. So, but Shelton Benjamin was one of my favorites, especially when he was part of the South World's Greatest Tag Team.
Oh, those were some good ass times, yo.
And when he got sent to Raw, when they did the first draft, when we had the first original split, and he went to Raw, they had him going over on Triple H. Then they stopped it. But I saw an article sometime when he came back on saying, like, his attitude wasn't there, his drive wasn't there. Some of these people, they have to show the drive, you know what I'm saying? And Jinder Mahal sucks, and I know they wanted to promote the Indian thing, I still don't think Jinder Mahal would have been the person if he didn't come back with a better drive. Because you can look, some people think he's juicing, but those people probably don't know nothing about working out. He realized that he had to change to do better, and and things look right out for him. Certain things aligned, got him there. I mean, he still can't put on a good match to save his life, but that's gonna take some work. Some of these people gotta, they gotta show and put in work. They gotta, and I think people are scared to stand up for themselves because I know certain people say Vince is really intimidating in person, and they're scared to stand up for themselves. So they have to stand up, not just tweet about it, but hey, look, I want to do this, I want to do that. I heard Xavier Woods was the one that went to Big E and them, the Big E and Kofi, like, hey, let's team up. Then he pitched the idea to Vince. That's the rumor. That's what I heard. I'm not sure if it's true, but
I think he said it himself. I think you're right. I think he said it himself
Yeah.
because I remember him telling a story about it.
Yeah. So some of these people gotta get together. Like I said, factions. I don't know if it's the writers or anything, and I hear Vince complain about not having enough superstars. But some of his really bad storylines, a lot of people are coming with big names from NXT, but then they're getting killed once they get to the main roster.
Exactly.
Two of the most recent ones I can think of was Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka. Like, I don't know what.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get me started. That's my child.
Asuka, I never get the logic of Dudley's logic of having somebody that's undefeated. Rusev, Asuka,
Goldberg.
Umaga back in the day. Who you say, Ray?
Goldberg.
No, I'm not talking about Goldberg. People who've been undefeated, then they feed them to one person, and all of a sudden, they weren't as strong as the ones before. That doesn't make logical sense. A good fighter doesn't. Well, unless you're Ronda Rousey, a good fighter don't lose matches and just go down a dark rabbit hole.
Look, say what you want. Amanda Nunes got hands.
I know. Amanda Nunes and Holly Holmes, they were strikers. She can't stand it. You said it yourself, and I was saying it too. She can't. She's not a striker. She can't throw punches. But no, what I'm saying is, you look at great fighters. You know what I'm saying? They just don't come back and still be. They don't go on a losing streak after that all the time.
Yeah,
that don't make sense. That doesn't make logical sense. Freaking Conor McGregor's 21-4, 21-4, but he's still a great fighter. Even he loses and he lost to Nate Diaz, came back and whooped his ass. Barely, but whooped his ass.
You won the fight. You won that fight.
But my thing is like, okay, Daddy don't make sense. Something they should have made a little storyline where something happened with Oscar where she can go get Carmella. Because no matter, that's the one thing I like about NXT. No matter how you look at it, you story wise or the way they portray Curtis, you just know that these things, no matter what. Let's take like it was instance. You said ain't no way the Street Profits, they were undefeated, it beat AOP, and they didn't, and that makes logical sense at the time because they weren't that good, they were undefeated, but one of the people in AOP, Street Profits, just ain't big as everybody else in that match, or just better, better skills and better equipped. Like I said, that's the one thing I like about NXT. They do stories and make it logical thinking.
Except for that Bianca Belair shit, but that's just me.
Which one? What?
The one like she just randomly turned heel. Like I knew they was gonna make her turn heel, but I didn't like the way they made her turn heel. Like she just fought Shayna Baszler, and then like they was in a 6-woman tag team match with like her, Io Shirai, and like what's the Kairi Sane against like Shayna Baszler and the 3 Horsemen and all that other stuff. And even though like they won the match and all that other shit, and like Io Shirai and Kairi Sane ain't do no fuck shit either. It's just like I think one of them pinned out of Shayna Baszler or some shit like that. And then next thing you know, next week, like Bianca Belair had an attitude. Or next time you saw Bianca Belair, she had an attitude about it. She didn't like that, and then they made her turn heel. Like it was the weirdest heel turn I've seen. Let's just say that.
No, nothing weirder than the Dean Ambrose heel turn.
I don't know how the fuck they dropped the ball on that one. That was one of the easiest, like, bruh.
That even the night they did the heel turn was great execution, but the problem was they couldn't think of a good enough reason, so they gave him something stupid. And I think that's what was the final shot for him. Like, this don't make sense. Why I'm turning heel on him? Like, you could have. I mean, they could have went back to the part where he was like, I truly didn't forgive you. I just don't still trust you. They could have did something, but they just, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Or hell, give him an inferiority complex. Be like, I attacked you because I needed to prove to myself that I don't need the shield or some shit like that. You could have done that.
That's what they were trying to go with, but it fell through.
No, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but
probably because they took too long to say that.
I just feel like some of them treat wrestlers like they got Down syndrome. It's like, okay, so I'm going to need you to say this and that, and we're not going to make it clear, because if we make it clear, then it's going to start to make sense. So just say that. It's not going to make sense, but at least the investors, and I'm like, what? That's why when I watch certain like promos and Raw, I have to change the channel, because it's just
Charlotte.
Yeah, because it's like, bruh, this shit actually don't make any type of sense.
And like, I swear to God, if Charlotte wins this triple threat match, I'm gonna be pissed.
Like what they try to do with Dana Brooke absolutely made no type of sense. All you have to say was, hey, I want to get some opportunities around here, and I want to prove that I can carry my weight. What they got this girl doing? Oh yeah, you gonna fight Ronda Rousey? She gonna make you tap out in like 3 seconds. So
they did it in the 6-man tag match. Becky and freaking Charlotte were out there doing a match. Ronda getting the match, and she taps out Mandy Rose like it was nothing. Like,
oh, you mean Liv Morgan?
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. Just like, I don't get them. They don't know. I don't. And they couldn't make nobody look strong enough to go against Oscar. Really? Like,
Right. How you have nothing for the champion? Like, that's the champion.
They could have merged the titles after WrestleMania if they needed to, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, why at the expense of Asuka? Why does she have to be the one that has like?
I still don't agree with unifying the titles. I think that's a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm. But I think they want more. I think Father said this in our group chat that they want more. They want more tag. Want to make more tag teams for the women tag team division.
But there's always been tag teams. Hell, you can like at least move all the tag teams to one fucking brand like Raw. Like you can like literally move them all to Raw.
With the women tag teams?
Yeah.
I wish we guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They're wilding.
And not only that, but the thing that kind of really doesn't make much sense to me is how they have Becky and Ronda. Well, mainly Becky and Charlotte going back and forth from Raw and SmackDown, even though technically there's still a brand split. And I believe that they're going to be calling people up from NXT, and they're going to be doing a draft after WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, okay, so now that you're essentially going to be unifying these titles, does this mean that the unified women's title, that the unified women's champion is going to have to go from Raw and SmackDown, Or we can even take it a step further because there were rumors that they were trying to make NXT the third brand and not just developmental anymore.
Mm.
So what?
Which I've been said they should have done.
I mean, I mean, that's true too. But at the same time, like there's a context there that has to be considered because obviously NXT got people like Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano and like a whole bunch of these people that are already ripe to just take over the shit. But there's still a lot of people in there that do need work. So it's just like when do you take the development that you made with these superstars and actually put them to use? Because I'm not seeing it with AOP. It took a very long time for
It is AOP. Oh my god.
One of them injured.
one of them got injured.
Okay.
So I'm also not seeing it with that other tag team. No, it took a long time for Wilder and Dash Wilder and that other guy, the
Like,
Revival. It took them a long time to get to the point where they at. And these were motherfuckers that was putting on 5-star matches in NXT takeover matches. So it's just like these people
damn, they
that
kept
NXT brand are ripe for the taking, but you find you find every single way to undermine their talent, and not only that, make them look weaker in the process. So basically, all their work in NXT that they did is null and void, and that's not fair because these are people that would run miles across a lot of the main roster that they have nowadays.
it, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, I know their problem was they both one got hurt, and when he came back, the other one got hurt. So that did hold them for a while. But some of it just not letting these people learn and do some of their own good promos. Like I still don't like what happened to the Ascension. The Ascension. People got butthurt because they made, oh, we're better than the Road Warriors. But look at their style. Of course, they're gonna say something like that. But since Hawk, I think it's Hawk is dead, people took it offensive. And these people keep screaming, we need an attitude era back. They not ready for no damn attitude era.
Yeah, y'all not about it.
The attitude era is so offensive. And speaking of WWE, I just see that A&E and WWE Studio will produce 5 original 2-hour documentaries showcasing WWE legends Macho Man Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Booker T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Shawn Michaels.
Y'all already know how I feel. Well, as far as the John Oliver thing, I think as far as us as wrestling fans, like we already know that shit. Like anybody that's a wrestling fan knows about the John Oliver. He literally didn't say nothing new. And then like we've had this talk before. Like we know like Vince done some racist, sexist, misogynist shit, and our only solution is to wait till Vince McMahon either retires or dies.
Well, he's a businessman. They don't retire. I don't know why.
Exactly. So that throws that out the window, and like I don't see him dying anytime soon because he's outlived every damn wrestler that's employed. So I don't see that anytime soon. But like as far as like I've always thought there's been like people like Booker T, like after the Attitude Era, even in the Ruthless Aggression Era, I felt like there was people that should have been champions, but never been. I feel like Booker T should have been champion at least 3 or 4 times. I felt like Rey Mysterio should have been champion like 4 times. Um, some of my favorites that that I like, I never got to see the light of day, like Yoshitatsu. Yoshitatsu was one of my favorites, and he went to shit. Bray Wyatt is like the reason I'm so into wrestling now from a pro standpoint because I feel like he's the best on the mic. Period.
Yeah.
We don't have no stories for him, and I've been asking for like months. Y'all know where the fuck is Bray Wyatt?
Well, he got his mistress pregnant, or his new girlfriend.
Like Shawn, you see some of the dirty shit Shawn Michaels used to do back then. And I think the least you could worry about is mistress getting pregnant, which I believe is
No,
getting a divorce anyway.
yeah, no, I'm saying I think they both decided he just decided to take time off with her. I think this is requested time off.
I don't. No, I honestly don't think the WWE has anything for him, and and I feel like that's the problem. Most of the wrestlers that like you say they spoke out, someone like a Tyler Breeze, a Naomi, like they don't got stuff for them, and like
I mean,
usually when they do, it gets canceled or like
Tyler Breeze, people like Tyler Breeze and Fandango should have those narcissist complex that they, I'm too pretty for this. Or, similar what they do with Velveteen Dreams. He comes up, he's starting a lot of beefs that don't need to be started. And it's all because of him sometimes. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they don't like trusting themselves that much. I don't know that the writers are lazy or they don't try to do TV time. And like I said before, I think one of the best way to do TV times is more factions and more faction wars. But I feel like they're scared. They don't want another NWO thing for some reason, which doesn't make sense to me because it means more revenue.
I
But
feel like. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but you got the New Day and you had the Shield before the New Day formed. You didn't get those. You didn't get that. You didn't get. You didn't get that. Whatchamacallit? You didn't get the. You didn't get that NWO thing. You just need some. You need factions that's fighting together. You know, you don't always have to keep them all around. Some of them can dissolve. Big matches. There's matches to get people out there. Some factions die within. Some get killed because of another one. Like there's ways to make stories. I just think they're not thinking. But I also heard,
I feel like the Wyatt family should have been like a big ass family.
yeah, it's
Like
bigger.
they could have brought more people in.
Mm-hmm. It definitely should have been bigger. Some of the factions should have grown a little bit. Some should have women. I think I did read an article that asked Seth Rollins and somebody, who would you add to the Shield? A female. What female wrestler you would add to the Shield? What female wrestler would you add to the Shield, Ray?
Tamina.
Is that your final answer?
I actually would add Tamina, but I actually like Tamina. I know like people like What Culture, like they bag on Tamina a lot. I don't think she's a bad wrestler. I feel like she has to hold back because she's bigger than most of the girls.
Yeah, you can see that with her. I didn't even think. She's probably thicker than Charlotte, but they about the same height. Who would you add to the Shield, Father?
That's a good question.
Well, Seth Rollins' answer
You
was
might have had a female Shield once, but that didn't plan out.
Seth Rollins' answer was Sasha Banks. He said it's during her heel run.
That could work.
Mm. Oh, you talking about when they had Bad in them? Those three little.
No, not Team Bad, but it was like actual. It was gonna be an actual female Shield. It was like Paige, Summer Rae, and some third chick that I can't remember. It's an old. I'll send you the link. It's like an old promo that they did, but they scrapped that shit real quick. This is like NXT.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tried to do a female Shield, but it didn't plan out. I think there's but I do think it's a little bit of both. I feel like some of those wrestlers they're just happy to be there and they got a job, and then I feel like there's people like the Miz, which is like, nah, I want to be the main event. Like he main evented WrestleMania twice, so I feel like he's not even though they've been giving him like IC title shots, you feel like he wants to be in that main title shot. He wants to be the next John Cena after John Cena leaves. Like he wants to be in that spot. You can tell that from the Miz. I think with this face turn because he just dismantled Sanity right by himself and shit.
I heard they be, I heard with Miz, Miz is considered to be one of John Cena's greatest rivals.
Yeah, yeah.
When he imitates John Cena, it's kind of funny. That shit was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
I think both of them bring out the best in each other.
But no, you're right, and it's just not dealing with wrestling. But when you want something, you got to go for it. I think I mentioned to you a lot about the motivational speaker Eric Thomas, and he says a lot of stuff. You got to give 120%. I think one of my favorite quotes is "Be phenomenal or be forgotten," and some of these people don't decide to be phenomenal. AJ Styles phenomenal.
You see that the little interview Enzo did, right?
Nah, because I can't. For some reason, I can't stand Enzo outside of the ring.
Why?
I don't know. He just seems like
he was actually dropping some gems, but he was kind of like right.
I think
he was complacent because he like completed his list early, so everything else after he was like, shoot, I was in a Royal because he said it. I was in a Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker and Goldberg. He's like, can you beat that? I'm doing promos with Jericho. It's like, damn, that's one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I was in WrestleMania with the Hardy Boys. It's like all the other stuff, and then he had all of WrestleMania doing his slogan and all the other stuff. He became cruiserweight champion, and that was the cruiserweight championship. That was a bonus. It was like he said, but he didn't know his value though because I think he was always on that. They're gonna fire me soon, but he's gonna give it his all before he got there. So him is a little bit of both, but he did say after WrestleMania, he everything on his bucket list he did. So he kind of got complacent.
You know what? Michael Jordan said he had after winning some championship, Michael Jordan said he had to think of stuff. So that sounds like an excuse. You got to find ways to motivate yourself. Oh, checklist. Oh, all the checklist is done. You said the cruiser title was a bonus. Time to look up some new stuff to make them bonuses.
Maybe that's just not what he wants.
I mean, but no, I'm just saying. But to keep going, you got to stay relevant in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's relevant plenty.
Yeah, he's still to me he's still relevant to this day. People know who he was.
Over time,
and for the moment, he had the most merch sold. If he comes, he feels like he doesn't need WWE, and there's not a lot of wrestlers that will say that.
Yeah, there's only two I can think of right now.
Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho.
Oh no, I was thinking about two other ones that still deal with it. I was thinking about John Cena and The Rock. They don't need it. Stone Cold don't need it. There's a lot of wrestlers that don't need it. But I always get even when you're on the top, you still gotta make lists that make sure. Back again to the motivational speaker. One of his business partners said one thing he did was I looked at what everybody else was doing and see what we could do to improve on it or do something different to get there. And what the trends were going for for their avenue. So they can get there and get to the top. Then he said I also looked at stuff, I keep looking at the same different stuff so we can stay on top. Eventually there's gonna always be somebody probably come in better than you. And at the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of these wrestlers that we love and probably did some crap backstage that some so they can stay on top. This person not ready. Somebody Tyler something. I can't think of his name. Said John Cena didn't like his finisher because it was similar to his. He actually looked better than his attitude adjustment.
I know what you're talking about. He ain't last that long either.
Tyler Rex?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it was Tyler Rex.
But you know, it was a lot of backroom politics. But your value go once you work for the WWE. Somebody said Ellsworth was asking for too much one time. I think he was asking for $5,000 room and board and travel to appear, and somebody was like, he ain't worth that much. And I was like, he worked for the WWE. I'm gonna tell you, he a WWE superstar. That's on his resume.
Yeah.
Last question. Oh, but go ahead, Wallace.
I was just saying Ellsworth was interesting.
He was interesting, but
Supposed to
he
be
made his money. I was even. Last question. Like after WrestleMania, how would y'all book everything that happens after WrestleMania? Let's say from like here to Money in the Bank. How would y'all book?
I
That's
need
a loaded question.
That's a dope question.
Okay, so I don't know because I feel like in order to answer that question, we gotta make sure that the right people won at WrestleMania because there's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do the major heat route and have Charlotte win both titles just by like cheating or by like some bullshit, you can do that. You can have Kofi get really, really. All right, here's what I'll do with Kofi. This is what I think would be dope, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Kofi should win. Like he should win the initial match, but Daniel Bryan had his foot on the rope and the referee didn't see. So while he's out celebrating and shit, that Tuesday, Daniel Bryan can go on a conspiracy rant. You know how like the WWE fucking screwed him over because they're trying to give a little guy his shine and they're trying to bury him. So like he's like the last flavor of the week or whatever. So we could have Daniel Bryan do that whole inferiority complex thing where he's like, "You're not better than me. You're not better than me. My foot was on the rope. You really didn't beat me that time. The referee was stupid." And I feel like this was planned because I was giving you too much truth about this stupid world and shit. And then you can set that up for Money in the Bank. And then with the women's tag team division, since it's in a good momentum now, I would have Sasha and Bailey retain, but at Money in the Bank, I would have them go against the Iconics because I feel like the Iconics are like the only other team that can really put on not even put on some good matches, but like the promos.
I feel like the first one's the one, but it's just me.
Yeah, and you can have them feud even. Like you can have them just have a really big feud that goes beyond like the brands and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like other than that, yeah, like everything I feel like in WrestleMania has been pretty much, like set in stone. Like of course after the Batista Triple H match, Batista's gonna disappear again. Miz versus Shane McMahon, that's literally filler.
So that's filler?
Yeah, it's filler. Because there was no Yeah, I mean there was no real reason for Shane McMahon to attack Miz. They only did it so they could have a match for WrestleMania.
Well, no, I heard they originally wanted a heel turn at the Survivor Series. It was supposed to be a total sweep, but some mishap happened with the tag team. You remember that's why they didn't have that count up there for. They didn't have the count up there that SmackDown won one thing during the preview.
Yeah, they won the preview show.
Yeah, on the pre-show. Supposedly they won one. They weren't supposed to win the tag team. SmackDown wasn't supposed to win none, and they were supposed to do a heel turn for Shane at that time, and it was always room that he was gonna go here. That's why I'm not sure it's Philly, but you can tell. I mean, this match was made. This match was made back at the great. Not was it when they had the best in the world little tournament thing. This match was set in motion back then.
I mean, yeah, I know it was set in motion, but it just feels like filler to me because it just like he attacks Miz after the match, then he attacks his dad, then match. I'm like, oh, true.
I mean,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you feel. What I really feel is filler is that fatal 4-way tag team match. That's what I feel like is filler. That's probably gonna be on a pre-show.
Oh, you talking about the SmackDown tag team one?
Mm-hmm.
I think the women's battle royale is going to be on a pre-show.
Yeah,
Which
both battle royales are going to be on the pre-show.
Are they?
Yeah.
They
No, I thought they moved the male battle royale like since like Michael Che and the two SNL guys. I thought it was going to be the main show.
You might be right.
Yeah, I think they go. I think they're both going to be pre-show.
Okay, which is my next problem because I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I went into SmackDown last week or the last episode of SmackDown. I was like, what are they gonna do with Asuka now that Charlotte won the title? Charlotte didn't show up, and Asuka just went on about her day like it was nothing. Like, okay, like she literally lost the title last week, and then this week y'all make her do nothing.
No, she won that mix. She won that little
That's battle royale. That's like something they always do when people scrap it. They just put people out.
I'm bullshitting, right?
Oh, but you see how I got right? Like how I literally got.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did nothing. It's like what the fuck? Like what the fuck?
She don't deserve this.
She does not. I'll be surprised if she goes to AEW. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I don't think she's gonna go to AEW though because the money she's getting from WWE already is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Same with Shinsuke Nakamura. Like he wants to be in WWE. Like he moved his own family. He moved his whole family to America to be in WWE.
Which is also a damn shame because he was like the hottest thing outside of WWE. And then like him, I remember him debuting on NXT and how big of a fucking reception he got there. And then going to SmackDown and showing the big ass reception you got there. It's like you had a superstar already and y'all did nothing.
I mean, they gave him the Royal Rumble.
After that year.
Chris Jericho wrestled him and said that he should be champion. Now he should be champion. He will be champion.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it too. I just hope it's sooner than later.
Yeah, because I think Shinsuke and Samoa Joe deserve world title opportunities.
I noticed something we don't get a lot no more is a bunch of outside of like pay-per-view that call for it. We don't get a bunch of we get them a lot of one-on-one title defenses. I remember back, maybe even in the aggression era to that, attitude era to the ruthless aggression era, we had, a bunch of 4 or 5 way fight for the belt. Like we don't do that much anymore. That's another way I think you can get people over. But we only do it when we need, it calls for it. That's why I think certain matches shouldn't be pay-per-views, like the Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell. I'm that guy.
What? Samoa Joe, like, are you excited for Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio?
Not really.
Me either, and I think that's a fire match, but the build up was non-existent.
I'd rather see it. Didn't they show his name too?
Andrade.
Is Andrade name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still call him
just like Mustafa Ali is Ali.
Yeah. I guess
they could have just made that a triple threat match, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You a triple threat or
Because Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio versus Andrade, that would be fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rey Mysterio and Andrade should have just finished their feud.
That too.
But at the same time, I don't want to get the title off Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe actually does deserve a title run.
Nah, Samoa Joe. To me, Samoa Joe should have battled all truth. It should. That's how I would have put it. I would like put Samoa Joe versus R Truth because R Truth really kind of like got fucked out of the title. Even though I want Samoa Joe to have the title, I feel like Samoa Joe and R Truth should have been that one battle, and Rey Mysterio versus Andrade would have been another one. I felt like that would have been a fire WrestleMania card because that was the build up right there. You had that build up, and they did nothing with it, or they just like fuck it. To me,
Let me just ruin this real quick, fam. You know what I'm saying? Let me just ruin this. I also kind of feel bad for Braun Strowman because it's like the second, third WrestleMania in a row where he's kind of like what comedy relief,
yeah.
and I'm like, damn. Uh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he enjoys it, but this man has not been Universal Champion yet. Like, come on.
Yeah, he could have been. Okay. And on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast. And as always, we're gonna have our final thoughts. We're gonna start with you first, Black Ginger.
Uh, we need more people like Dipsy out here, which I do believe. They're just not future.
Ha!
Is that it?
Nah, peace, love, positivity on my logic. Get his book. I haven't got it yet, but I am. And black love, black power. That's what I got for you.
Father.
Damn. You know what? I want some chicken. I'm gonna order some chicken tomorrow.
Awesome.
And happy birthday. I want to send a birthday shout out to my girl Naya Renee. She's in the where's she go? She went somewhere. I think Cancun. I think that's where she's at in Mexico. She over there living her best life. Her IG got fucking suspended or whatever. Because they don't want to see a black woman out here finessing these white dudes, finessing these Twitch dudes. But you know what? That's the homie right there. So happy birthday to her. I think she's turning 23. And yeah. And I'm gonna order some chicken tomorrow because I want some chicken.
Fuck this decade.
Damn.
And I'm gonna end it like that.
I don't even know what this decade thing is about. I meant to ask that earlier.
I felt like this whole decade's been trash. Just like as a compared to like the '90s, the early like I'm comparing my lifespan from the '90s to the early 2000s.
You were a kid in the 90s, right?
Yeah, but I felt like life was good then. Like
Yeah, because you was a kid.
times, I feel like even in the times where like you had your black movies and like it was like the rise of like black people doing their own shit where it comes to movies, music. There's the golden era of hip hop. Most people call that the golden era of hip hop and all that other stuff. Like as a decade, it's like people love the '90s. Like it was a very eccentric era. Like and even like me in the early 2000s, like there was nothing really bad about that. We just learned about the internet. Social media is not that prevalent unless you had a Black Planet or a MySpace account. Like during that era, it was cool. Like you had your downfalls like Bush being president and Hurricane Katrina and 9/11 and all that other stuff. But I don't think the early 2000s, the 2000s was bad. But this 2010, I don't know, man. I feel like this has just been a trash decade, and I hope 2020 The 2020s are way better than this shit. That's just on me. Um, so then, this is your boy Ray, and this is, you know what? Let me just say, podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.
Later.
Mm-hmm.